three-time winner this season, Teo Fabi. They'll maneuver their high horsepower machines against Indy's greatest drivers for a wild ride around a 1 mile oval. And from the Canadian frontier town of Calgary, it's an international roundup of the world's best-built bodies in the Women's World Bodybuilding Championship, displaying their own brand of muscularity and flexibility. This competition spurs these women to perform world-class choreographed routines. That's all today on NBC Sports World. This is NBC Sports World, and today it's brought to you by Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, brewers of Michelob. Some things speak for themselves. By Volkswagen. By the Champion Spark Plug Company, the only spark plugs with a performance guarantee. And by IBM. Two men stand in the hot sun of the Phoenix desert. The young man, the challenger, and the old, long-time veteran. The classic confrontation of the Old West. They wait now only for the signal. But the signal not for the six-gun, but for the engine, because we're in Phoenix for the CART Phoenix 150. Hello, I'm Paul Page. And this is the fight that everybody has waited for. It's that classic confrontation. The old veteran, the old hand in town, Al Unser Sr. He's met them all and won more times than any other. 37 IndyCar victories to his credit. And he takes on today that new kid on the block, the new gun, the young Italian, Teo Fabi. Teo Fabi was a mere 15 years old when Big Al won his first national championship. But today, he's the challenger. He's the pole sitter. He's the man that can not only put his name on the list, that long distinguished list of winners here at Phoenix, but he can also take the national championship away from Al Unser Sr. Let's talk with Teo Fabi right now. He's with Gary Gerald.
Well, Paul, here's the newest young outlaw on the circuit. Here's the man who's really done it this year. 3 victories, 6 times on the pole position, and of course he comes into the season finale with a shot at the national championship. Teo Fabi, you're starting here from the pole position. This national championship is still very much alive. How do you figure your chances are against Al Unser?
Well, I think a very small chance. Unfortunately, it depends on what Unser do. But we go out, we try to win the race, and then we'll see what's going to happen.
Teo, I'm amazed at the fact that you as a rookie driver and as a rookie team, you are at your first time here at Phoenix, that you're actually in the pole position. Did you surprise yourself by being faster than all these veteran drivers?
Well, we had a lot of problems the first day practice, and but we did a very good job on the car. We work a lot, and now it's the best car, I think.
Do you feel that Al has an advantage because of the fact that he has so many years in this racetrack, that he's won here 5 times in the past?
No, the only advantage he has to finish 6th, and I have to finish 1st. So it's a big difference.
Well, he clearly knows what he has to do. Let's go back now. Al Unser starts a few rows behind Teo. His brother, Bobby Unser, is standing alongside right now.
Okay, with me here I have my younger brother, and of course, the one that I hope is going to, if not win today, at least finish in the top 5. Al, you're the winningest active driver we have today. What's your game plan? Brother, you're in a little bit of trouble here, but you might be in pretty good shape. Tell me what you're thinking about doing today.
Well, Bobby, I think we're just going to go out and try to race hard. That's all I can do, you know. You can't lay back and hope that somebody else has problems or something. I'm just going to have to go out and hope for the best and try to run as hard as I can all day. And because if you back off, if something happens, then you're really sorry. So, no, we're just going to go after it like nothing else was going on.
Okay, but remember, you're a team. You've got Rick, too. Have you and Roger and Rick done any planning? Have you done any talking about? I know that if Rick could, he'd probably try to help you.
Well, Rick's going to help me. He's going to win the race. I mean, we talked about it. He just says, yeah, that's no problem. He says, we'll just win the race, and then there won't be any problem. I says, I'll vote on that.
I bet you there's a lot more game strategy here than anybody ever even wants to talk about right now.
No, not really. It's funny, Bobby. As you know, Penske would never allow anything like that on teamwork towards anything. We're going to go at it. If he can outrun Fabi, fine. If he can't, we'll wait and see what happens after that. But there really isn't any game plan going on other than trying to win it.
Does Roger want another national champion?
Well, that or he's going to hang me by my neck.
That's what I thought. At any rate, I, for one, hope you win.
Well, thank you.
Okay, now we're going to throw it over to Bruce Jenner, who has a very interesting person to be talking to.
All right, thank you, Bobby. And the man that could work as the spoiler in this event is Tom Sneva. The point standing is coming right down to this at the end of the year. But this year, besides Indianapolis, after Indianapolis, you started to run into some problems. But this race has been your track. Every year, you've won it 3 times in a row, and now going for number 4. So that has to give you a little confidence going in here.
Well, you'd think it would, but you get humbled pretty quick when you get out here in this Phoenix Mile, because if you don't have the car right, it's real tough. But we're looking forward to it. We hope to run up front all day, and, you know, it's been a year since we've run here, so I hope that year layoff I didn't forget too many things that I did right last year. Usually we run here twice a year, but, you know, it's going to be whoever puts the right tires on late in the race, and we hope we get the right ones on the Texaco Star.
All right, going into the end of this race, you know the point standings between Al Unser and Teo Fabi. Is that going to change your strategy at all? Are you going to look at this race a little differently if you see the big green machine coming up behind you or anything like that? Or are you going to race for the win?
Well, we came to win the race. We, you know, that's their problem to get their act sorted out. And we're going to run as hard as we can. And, you know, if we're close, we're going to be tough at the end.
You're always tough at the end at the Phoenix 150.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right, let's go back up to Paul Page.
So Teo Fabi mounts up now for his run in the desert, trying to be a national champion in his rookie year. But it's the veteran, Al Unser, who has the best shot. He merely has to finish 6th or better. It's Fabi versus Unser, the battle in the desert. We'll be back with the starting lineup.
KMTR-TV, Eugene, Springfield.
Here's the lineup for the Phoenix 150 as we use the cruise signaling board to show you the starting grid. On the pole, Teo Fabi. He is 6.5 miles an hour slower than Rick Mears' track record in his number 33.
And on the outside is Mario Andretti. Never won a Phoenix 150 before, but very much on a hot streak right now.
On the inside of the second row, the defending national champion, Rick Mears. 8.5 miles an hour below his record the last day. He'll wear number 1.
And on the outside of Rick is Chip Ganassi. Finished 3rd the last 2 races and re-signed with Patrick Racing for 1984. Very good newcomer.
On the inside of the third row, twice the national champion, 3 times a winner here, Tom Sneva in car number 5.
And on the outside of Tom is Johnny Rutherford. Last victory here at this track in 1981. Very hungry race driver now.
On the inside of the fourth row, Kevin Cogan in car number 6. He has yet to win his first kart race, but he certainly is due.
And on the outside, my brother, Al Unser, with a total of 5 wins here at Phoenix and going for the national championship to date.
On the inside of the fifth row, in car number 66, is young Peter Halsmer of Lafayette, Indiana. It's his 18th IndyCar start. So far, he has finished 2nd, but never won.
And on the outside of the fifth row is Pancho Carter, looking for a 2nd kart victory here at the same racetrack that almost took his life in 1977.
And as we take a look at the rest of the field, of those 6 drivers, 5 of them are rookies. Mike Andretti, Mario Andretti's son, is here, as is little Al Unser. Bobby Rahal not running today because of an accident that occurred in pit practice yesterday. Now, the green flag in the hands of Nick Fernaro, and we're racing 150 miles ahead of these drivers in Phoenix as Mario Andretti high side, Teo Fabi, and moves into the lead. Fabi now chasing Andretti as they move to the backstretch. Good move by Andretti.
It was a good move, but you know, anybody that's going to beat Mario to start is going to have to be an awful good driver.
And a problem already with Rick Mears. Rick Mears dropping backward out of your screen. Here is Andretti and Fabi as Andretti comes onto the main stretch, the completion of the first lap, and Mario Andretti takes the first lap at Phoenix. Fabi comes to the inside, decides not to try it.
Well, he's going to find it really hard to pass Mario. Mario's a tough driver to pass on this track. He'll use up more track than any other driver here.
Well, Mario Andretti showing the rookie Teo Fabi the way around this 1 mile track at Phoenix, Arizona. In second place is Fabi. In third place now is Chip Ganassi. And in fourth place is Johnny Rutherford, who is finally having some good luck.
Well, there's the two Patrick cars that haven't been too good all year except for the latter part, Paul, and they're definitely competitive today.
And here is Rick Mears in the pits. Peter Parrott, the crew chief, working at the back of the car. Jerry Breon leaning over the cockpit. And look at the frustration that Peter Parrott is showing. Something wrong with that car.
Well, they're obviously having transmission problems. They have a new transmission. In fact, it's a Wiseman, and they're having problems with the shifting on it, Paul.
But the Penske crew will continue to work on Rick Mears' car. And look at Al Unser. He's really skating around coming off it, too.
Well, he's wiggling really bad. The rear end is loose on the car, and he's not handling good, but they'll adjust it on the first pit stop, I feel certain.
Teo Fabi now begins to close on the leader, Mario Andretti. Chip Ganassi is right in there as well in third place. There's that crew, the Penske team, still working on the car. Apparently, they expect to make the repair and put him back out.
Well, for all practical purposes, they're finished in this race. It's just going to be a matter of what they're going to do now.
Of course, the real question becomes whether or not Rick Mears will move into the spoiler rule. That is, will he try and get out in front of Teo Fabi or Mario Andretti and slow them down, allowing Al Unser to move up through the field for his national championship. At the moment, though, it is Mario Andretti. Teo Fabi closes right down behind. There you see Ganassi and Rutherford and Kevin Kogan now running in fifth place. Now there's a further report coming from the Penske pits. Let's go down to Bruce Jenner. Bruce?
Just after one lap, Rick Mears comes into the pits. Right now, it's locked in gear. He can't get it out of gear. Took off into that first turn. Accelerated pretty well, but just couldn't hit the next gear and brought it in. They're frantically right now working on the back end of the car. They got it up on the jacks, and they're trying to find out what's wrong with the transmission.
A very quiet and patient Roger Penske watching it. Look at Teo Fabi as he pulls high, trying to challenge Mario Andretti. Tried an outside pass.
Well, he's sticking anywhere on the racetrack. Look at him here. Now he's going to go. Look at it. He's going to the inside. There's just no question about it, Paul. His car is sticking any place it wants to on the track.
Teo Fabi now challenging Mario Andretti for the lead of the race. Andretti leading from the start. They come onto the main stretch. Ganassi closes in. Rutherford closes in. It's Fabi down on the inside. Now he swerves to the outside. Pulls alongside Andretti. Can Fabi hold on? Fabi on the outside. Andretti tries to hold him back, but Fabi gets around.
There's one of the prettiest passes I've ever seen. Without any doubt, that was a very, very good pass, and especially considering the guy's a rookie at this track.
A tremendous combination of skill and driving as well as a car that is wonderfully prepared, and that's a bit surprising because this is not their circle car, this is their road racing car.
Well, that's one of the hardest places to make a pass on this track, and there's very few cars that will ever pass there and do it successfully.
And already Teo begins to pull away from Andretti, and Ganassi is beginning to challenge Andretti for second place. There's Al as he is chasing Tom Sneva. Now, Al is currently in seventh place. He needs to get around Tom Sneva if he wants to be in a position to win the national driving title.
Well, of course, he's going to take a little while to do that. He's got all day in the race there, Paul, and he's got to finish the race to get his points. But Tom Sneva is running a little bit slow for this time in the race, and he's a little bit jerky. If you notice, his rear end was a little bit loose going into turn one right there.
You can get an idea, too, of how careful Big Al is on driving this race, as he's been very cautious as he makes his move on Tom Sneva. In earlier days, we'd seen him charge through there, but he's taking it nice and easy now.
Well, that's for sure. Just like that one little deal there, he sucked right out of it the minute he thought there could have been a little bit of a problem.
Of course, his goal today is simply to stay alive, to stay better than sixth place. If he does that, he can win a national championship. But it's this man's job to win the race. He's already on the pole. He's picked up a point for that. He needs to lead the most laps and win the race. And then if Al finishes lower than sixth, then Teo Fabi could be the national champion. Here's Johnny Rutherford, currently running in fourth place. One of the best rides we've seen out of Johnny so far this season.
Well, those two factory cars are working an awful lot better than they've been all year, and he should be proud of them. They're running third and fourth right now, Paul.
But the most spectacular run is this car, the number 33 machine of Teo Fabi, a wonderfully prepared car. Barry Green and the crew has done a magnificent job with it, and the rookie is leading here in the Phoenix 150. So as Teo leads, we'll be back with more of the Phoenix 150. Teo Fabi is still out in front of the Phoenix 150. Mario Andretti led for the first several laps, and then Teo with a spectacular pass went around Andretti in the second turn and has led ever since. Rick Mears is still in the pits. He's been here here a very long time as they try to fix his shifting linkage. And now, here is Tom Sneva as he closes down on his teammate, Kevin Kogan. Kogan currently at 5th place, and Big Al Unser is right behind, waiting to see what happens. Now, he doesn't want to get up and get his nose in that action as Sneva moves around Kogan. Now we'll see if Al tries it.
Well, they've been having this race for quite a while, Paul. It looks like it's been the best race on the track.
Here's the battle for second between Andretti and Ganassi. Johnny Rutherford running all alone in 4th place right now. And Al Unser cranks up extra boost, comes on the throttle hard, and is able to power his way past Kevin Kogan. He's now where he wants to be. Let's go down to Bruce.
Rick Mears in the pits for some 25 laps to work on his transmission. He lights up the tires, getting back out. Obviously, the transmission is working right now, but he's in the pits for 25 laps. I think what Roger Penske is thinking right now, that he wants him back out on the track to maybe be a spoiler so Al Unser can move up in the pack.
Well, if that is the thinking in the Penske team, then Rick Mears moved out at exactly the right moment, because right now, Mears has brought himself onto the course directly in front of the leader, Teo Fabi.
Now, there's no way that Roger Penske is ever going to allow Rick Mears to interfere with the race between Al and Fabi. That much I'll guarantee you.
Teo Fabi is being very careful now as he allows Rick to pull away, get just a bit of a lead on Teo. Now, Rick can be running with boost full up at this point as well. There's that battle for second place. Rick Mears, because he is 25 laps behind the lead and not a factor in the race, can turn his boost way up and run as fast as he wants.
Well, he's going to do that because they're testing the car for next year, for a test, whatever you'd want to call it. That's what they're doing. But as far as Fabi's concerned, he's got to make the race on one pit stop, because that's what they're going to try to do with Al.
Teo Fabi still out in front. At the moment, Al Unser is exactly where he wants to be, 6th place. If the race stays as it is now, then Al Unser will be the national champion for kart for 1983. And you can see that out in front, Teo Fabi is well ahead, almost a full lap ahead of the 2nd place car of Mario Andretti.
He's sticking on the racetrack better than any other car, that's for sure. And Rick Mears is also very, very quick. But you must remember, Rick has fresh tires all the time, a lot of fuel, running full boost like you mentioned a while ago. So Fabi's not going to look quite as quick. But I reckon he probably is as quick as Rick if they had an all-out race.
Now Teo Fabi closes down behind Tony Bentonhausen. Directly in front of Tony is Gary Bentonhausen. Look how well that car handles. He can drive it anywhere he wants. Now, strategy becomes very important at this point. When will you make the pit stop? The race at Phoenix has never run flag to flag, green all the way. So anytime anything happens and they go yellow, I imagine the leaders will head for the pit.
Well, they got to have a yellow before long. They haven't had one so far today, but it's going to be one before long, I'm sure, Paul.
So Teo Fabi well out in front of 2nd place and beginning now to carefully pick his way through the field. 2nd place is Mario Andretti currently. 3rd place is Chip Ganassi, as here comes the leader closing up behind John Paul Jr. And Al Unser still in 6th place, the position that he wants to be, but strategy for him so very important. Let's go back to the Penske pits and Bruce.
Roger, Rick was in the pits for some 25 laps, but you put him back out on the track. Did you use that sort of as a spoiler? Maybe he could stay ahead of Teo, but it just gives you that other factor involved in keeping Al out there for the points.
Well, I think really, we came here to race. It's unfortunate the car's stuck in gear, and he's running very quick out there. And to give us some time on the car, we got to learn. We got to be back here next year. Obviously, he's not going to be a factor in what Al does. We don't going to operate that way, really. Al's running his race, and hopefully he'll be able to finish 6th or better, and we'll see what happens with Fabi.
All right, but you got both your cars back out on the track. Good luck.
Thanks.
The Penske team, a 2-car team. Roger Penske runs the crew for Rick Mears. Derek Walker runs it for Al Unser, and they compete with one another.
I'll guarantee you they look at each other as being the enemy, just as much as they do the other cars. They try to outrun each other every bit as much.
So here is your leader, Teo Fabi. Let's go to Gary.
Paul, at this stage of the race, things simply couldn't be going any better for Teo Fabi, for Barry Green, the Forsythe brothers. It's almost as if a master plan had been laid out. He's opened up a tremendous lead. He's handling the traffic. The fuel consumption is fine. The car is handling beautifully. He's doing everything that he has to do to keep those national championship hopes alive.
A very smooth race for the Bandit as number 33 continues well out in front. 19-second lead. 450, this is Paul Page with Bobby Unser, Gary Gerald, and Bruce Jenner. Teo Fabi is our leader. In second place right now is car number 3, Mario Andretti. And in third place, moving up from 5th position, is Tom Sneva, 3-time winner here at the Phoenix 150, as Sneva comes down the main straightaway and moves around Desiree Wilson.
And he's doing his late race charge, typical of his Phoenix race all the time. And there's my brother Al in 6th place and still looking good.
Al Unser, the position he wants. He's been extra cautious this entire race. Derek Daly pulls up behind and begins to close just a bit. Now they come onto the main stretch, and Al moves over, touches Daly. Daly gets into the wall. Al continues on straight. Will Daly continue on?
Boy, that was a close one. I tell you, Paul, that could have been a terrible wreck.
Derek Daly has a flat right rear tire. He pulled up just behind Al, and Al drifted out into him, but Al is still at speed. It doesn't appear that anything's wrong.
No, but I bet you Daly's got more than just a flat tire wrong with his car. That was really close to being a bad wreck, and I reckon something's got to be bent on at least the front end of Daly's car.
What a moment. That could have been the end of the national championship for Al Unser as he pulled alongside Daly. Now the Penske crew set out tires for Rick Mears, but now Roger Penske is calling Peter Parrott and the crew back in. They are not going to stop at this point. Apparently they thought they'd go yellow.
Well, I would have certainly thought they would have gone yellow, if nothing else, but to have a good track inspection, because there's a good chance we lost some parts off some of the... Well, that's the car right there. You can see Daly's car has been on the left side.
Derek Daly bounces down the pit road and heads for a stop. The right rear is flat. There appears to be damage to the left side part of the car. A tech inspector runs to check this car and make sure it's safe to go out as the crew now falls on it. Routine refueling. This would be a good time for refueling. Apparently, several of the crews decided, yellow or not, they will stop. Tom Sneva is one of them, Mark Bridges, and the crew of the George Bignani, Dan Cotter team go to work on that machine. And it looked for a second like this car, Al Unser might have darted for the pits, but he continues to stay out. Johnny Rutherford is in. George Huning working the right front as the crew chief with the C. Ray Votes machine. Rutherford sitting in the cockpit, and they have prepared for a 4-tire stop here for Rutherford. So 4 changes of tires on the Rutherford machine. Teo Fabi, though, stays out in the lead.
Well, they both are going to have to come in pretty quick because they're going to be out of fuel, but Al is not going to come in until Teo does, because that's just the way it has to work.
And here comes Teo Fabi, number 33, down the pit road. He is the furthest pit down toward the exit, so he has the entire road to adjust himself in and pull into the pits. Let's go down to Gary Gerald.
It has been an absolutely textbook performance thus far. The little Italian keeping those national championship hopes alive. In for fresh rubber on the right side. Topping off with fuel right at the midway point of this race. Sitting calmly. There's smoke coming from the brake ducts on the right front side. They reach in and clean around the radiator on the left side. Now they pull the fuel hoses back down off the jack. Beautiful stop for Teo Fabi.
Well, they took their time. A 22-second stop for Fabi. Now Mario Andretti has not stopped, so our early leader Andretti picks up the lead again. Big Al has not stopped either, so they are both due.
Well, we're going to be looking for Big Al to make a stop pretty quick, because as I told you earlier, Paul, he can't come in until Fabi does, but I reckon we're going to see Big Al stop a little bit quicker than Fabi.
Al Sr. slows coming off the second turn. Johnny Rutherford goes around. Tom Sneva begins to close now. Al Sr. has to begin slowing down on the racetrack because he occupies pit number 1, the very first pit on pit road. Sneva comes around Al Sr., and now Al turns down toward the pit. Here's Bruce Jenner to cover the action.
Al Unser, trying to win his national driving championships, comes into the pit. You can see on the front of that Penske prepared car an awful lot of tire marks and everything. Is Al Unser is topping off with fuel, taking 3 tires. The crew trying to work as fast as they possibly can to get him back out there on the track. A good, very quick stop for Al Unser. Starts, he stalled out that engine a little bit right at the end, but he's back out there with a fast pit stop for Al Unser.
Chip Ganassi in the number 20 car, actually relieving Gordon Johncock, who is still recovering from injuries, pulls out ahead of Al Sr., but Al now back up to speed. That falter in the engine disappears, and Al Unser moving at speed on the race course. Now Mario Andretti, still the leader, car number 3. He is not yet stopped. He is due for a stop at any moment. He has really carried that fuel tank, surely, just as far as it can go.
He's been doing that all year. He hasn't, he's never stopped as soon as the other cars. He seems to have more fuel than the other people do, and I think they just do a better job of tuning the engine.
So Andretti, due for his single stop for fuel, the only one needed to complete the Phoenix 150 as he slows down now. That's Desiree Wilson just in front of him. And Andretti now looks for a clear lane into the pits. Andretti bobbles just a bit coming off the floor and heads down toward Gary.
Andretti's colorfully attired crew waving him into his designated spot just up the pit road from Teo Fabi. Mario locking up the brakes at the last instant, banging into one of the wheels, and at a bit of an angle there, not really lined up in the straight getaway fashion that perhaps his crew would hope. They make the outside change first, also a change on the left rear. They top off with fuel. Andretti moving into the lead, coming in, of course, fresh from a victory at Laguna Seca. They drop the air gun up front. You can see someone over the wall pulling it back. A wing adjustment up front to help the handling characteristics as Andretti burns away.
So Mario Andretti back to the action. Teo Fabi picks up the lead. Andretti will join the field in third place now, and Tom Sneva, as a result of his early stop, picks up second place. But running out in front is the rookie Teo Fabi. And a different runner of our time was Merritt Gifter, a double Olympic gold medalist in long-distance running. And he's the subject at the Phoenix 150. Teo Fabi is still the leader. This is Paul Page with Bobby Unser, Gary Gerald, and Bruce Jenner. In second place is Tom Sneva. But Sneva is well back, almost a full half lap behind our leader.
Well, he's so far back, I don't know about his late charge that he usually does here at Phoenix, Paul, but he's going to have a rough time with it now.
Well, 3 times Tom Sneva has won the Phoenix 150 by charging from behind, but he is well back now. The yellow car, number 7, Al Unser, picks his way very carefully through traffic. He is trying to win a national championship and currently is in position to do it. He needs only a 6th place finish. He is currently running in 5th.
He's probably being more careful right now than we've ever seen him as long as we've known him.
Johnny Rutherford, an unscheduled stop. All of the crews have made their routine stop at the halfway point. So Johnny being in the pits at this time, it means trouble.
He has some sort of engine problems, I think, Paul. It's what they're working on.
So Johnny Rutherford in the pits, Teo Fabi a half lap out in front, and Al Unser exactly where he wants to be. If he can stay there, then he can take the national championship. But if Teo Fabi can continue to lead and Al drops below 6th, then Teo Fabi will be the first rookie to win a national title since Bob Carey did it back in 1932. As Teo Fabi now moves inside Desiree Wilson on the backstretch.
He's still sticking better than anybody on the racetrack, and Al is definitely getting a little bit looser. If you notice, Al's car wiggles quite a bit right now.
Now, Barry Green and that Forsythe crew has done a remarkable job in preparing the Bandit for competition all throughout the season, and an extraordinary job here today as Teo drives anywhere he wants. Not driving now, though, ready to climb out. As he disconnects his steering wheel is Johnny Rutherford.
Well, Johnny has some very serious problems, and it's with his engine, that's obvious, and it's very sad.
So Johnny Rutherford climbs out for the last time in what has been a very disappointing season for Rutherford. Teo Fabi now has slower traffic in front of him. That's Rick Mears coming down on the inside. Teo Fabi takes the high road as they move around Roger Mears. Now Rick Mears sitting just in front of Fabi as he begins to challenge Pancho Carter. But remember, Mears is 25 laps behind the lead. Fabi is a half lap in front of the second place car of Tom Sneva. But Rick Mears right now is running some of the fastest laps being run in the race as Fabi begins to pick his way now ever so carefully through traffic. This race has been under the green flag right from the beginning, and Bobby Unser, your 11-year-old race record might be in jeopardy.
Well, I certainly hope not, Paul, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
There you see the interval, first to second. Tom Sneva currently running in second place. Fabi is our leader. Let's go down to the pits and Bruce.
Johnny, you've been having problems all year long. Today you were out there, you were up there with the leaders at the start of the race. I thought today might be your day, but it just proved not to be.
Well, no, something went wrong in the engine, and you know, it's just a bummer. Really don't know how to sum it up. This is the last race of the season, and we had a pretty good chance going in, starting in 6th. And I just feel sorry for our sponsor, Sea Ray Boats, that we didn't do a better job for him. But that, you know,
but there's always next year, Johnny, right? And now that season's over with. We can forget about it. Now it's time to look on to next year. What do you look for?
Well, I've got a couple of things cooking. One I think will be really good in particular, and I really can't say anything until we get it put together. But it'll be a good one, and we'll be back in the hunt, as they say.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to that announcement, and best of luck to you next year, big fella.
Thank you.
All right. We certainly do wish Johnny Rutherford all the best as he makes his plans for kart racing in 1984. Dale Fabi still out in front, still controlling this race, now coming down behind Chip Ganassi, who has had a wonderful season as well, as he replaces the ailing Gordon Johncock, who our reports indicate will be in fine fettle and ready to race again when we come to 1984. Well, Dale Fabi's crew has done a magnificent job. Let's go back to the pits as Gary Gerald stands with Barry Green, the crew chief for the Forsythe team.
Well, here's Barry Green, the crew chief for Teo. This has been a textbook performance. Everything has been virtually perfect thus far, Barry.
So far, so good, Gary, but we've still got a long way to go in the race. We got good fuel consumption on the first run, so that was our last stop. We don't have to come in again.
Now, is there any risk at all? Are you totally confident if there's no yellows you can go the rest of the way?
No, we've got to run 2 less laps on this second stop than we did on the first stop, so we're quite safe.
Now, if there is a yellow, will you pull him in as a precaution?
We made a senior on his way to his second national driving title. Watching from Teo's pits is Gary.
Well, a little bit of concern here in the Teo Fabi pit. They say they're just trying to be cautious with the traffic situation. They say the car is still working all right, but they've slowed a good second per lap or so. They're now running in the 28-second bracket, which is considerably off the pace. But with that big group of cars in front of Teo, just trying to ensure the fact that he stays in the race, doesn't fall victim to an incident.
Some concern then for Teo's position on the course. Concern, too, at the other end of the pits. Bruce Jenner is with Roger Penske.
Roger Penske right behind me. I've asked him 4 times if he's been able to talk. He hasn't been able to talk. He's so excited. He's been jumping up and down, going back and forth across the pit between Mears and Al Unser, because at this point, if Al Unser finishes the way it is right now, he'll win the National Driving Championship. So right now, Roger Penske, a very concerned team owner.
There's Al Unser Sr. He is 1 lap behind the leaders now in 4th place, just ahead of the 2nd place car of Mario Andretti.
Well, Dale Fabi's still leading, and it still looks like he's going to win the race to me, but it also looks like Al's very secure right now.
The white flag flies for Teo Fabi. Just under a mile to go now. And Fabi will have done everything necessary to win the national championship. Sat on the pole, led the most laps, on his way to victory at the race, but by the nature of the 4th place position that Al Unser currently occupies, Al Unser will win a national driving title. Here is car 33, the School Bandit. Teo Fabi as he motors his way around Phoenix. On to the main stretch now, and the checkered flag flies. Teo Fabi is the winner. Sliding his way to the line 1 lap down in 3rd place is Tom Stava, and the celebration begins in the Forsythe pits as here comes Al Unser Sr. screaming for the checkered flag and his 2nd national driving title. Roger Penske begins to celebrate. Look at the relief on Roger's face as Al Unser Sr. wins the national championship. And the celebration begins. Let's go down to the Penske pit now as Bruce Jenner is with Roger Penske.
Congratulations to Roger Penske. I think out of the last 5-6 years, you've won the National Driving Championship about that many times. And it's really quite an accomplishment to you and your crew. And Al Unser just pulled off another one.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a tough one. I've got to hand it to Dale Fabi and Barry Green and the Forsythe brothers. They're good friends of mine, and to race those guys, and they really put it on us here at the end. But, you know, it took the whole season. We got enough points to win. It's a shame that Rick had a gear go that stuck because he was flying all day. We were hoping that maybe he could keep Fabi honest, but when you can't run at the beginning and stuff. But this season's over, and I'll tell you, we got a lot of work to do.
Well, it's a credit to your organization. You're able to pull it off this year, and now you can go celebrate.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks a million.
So Teo wins at 126 miles an hour. Bobby, you still hold the race record.
Well, it's been a good day for the Unsers. Al is the new national champion, and I still have my race record, and that's important.
We'll be out of over 25,000. Watch Teo Fabi win the Phoenix 150. Let's go to Gary.
Teo, congratulations. You did what you absolutely had to do. The national championship isn't there, but a successful season, a tremendous drive today.
Thank you.
Well, you made it look so easy. Were there any problems at all with the traffic?
Well, with the traffic, I had a lot of problems, but the car was just great.
At any time you came in, there were no yellows. You were able to make just the 1 stop. Were you confident you could go the distance on that 1 stop?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Teo, you come into this racetrack with no experience on the oval. and yet you showed all the veterans today. That's got to give you a lot of satisfaction.
Well, yes, I don't want to change my season with the one Al Unser did. I know he won the championship, but I'm very happy on what I did.
Indeed, you should well be happy. Let's get a word with Barry Green. Barry, congratulations. This has been a remarkable year for you and the Forsyth brothers.
We've had a good year. We had a little bit bad luck to start off with, Gary, but it turned out to be a good one in the end. I'm just sad we couldn't get a few more points and take the championship.
I'm sure that you're all excited about the prospects for 1984.
We'll do it next year.
All right.
Thanks
Crew Chief Barry Green, the Forsyth brothers, and of course Teo Fabi here in the cockpit. No yellow flags, a wire-to-wire romp for his 4th win, this one at Phoenix.
And it was a season-long fight in the PPG IndyCar World Series, but Al Unser wins it by just 5 points. Here's Bruce.
Al, let me be one of the first guys to congratulate you after your team is congratulate. Just a great drive today. You did exactly what you had to do.
Well, that I did. Everything went our way, you know. It would have liked to have gone quicker and all that, but thanks to the Penske team and, of course, Hertz for sponsoring us and Pennzoil and everybody else, it feels good.
Must be quite a feeling. Last driving championship was back in 1970. It's been a long time. You had a lot of lean years back in the Longhorn years, and when you never really got that car going. But to come back this year, be able to win the driving championship is really quite an accomplishment. You must feel good.
Well, it does. You know, you can always backtrack and say you should have, or I came close many a times, but when you're able to, you know, pull this off all year and be able to win the championship, it makes the guy really feel happy, and of course, thanks to the team.
Well, the great champions are able to sustain over a long period of time and continue to win, and you've certainly proved that. You're one of the greatest champions this sport's ever had. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Al Unser heads off to celebrate his national championship. There's already quite a party down in the Forsyth pit.
Well, Paul, the celebration continues down here. Barry Green now joined by the Forsyth brothers. John over on this side. We've got Jerry in the middle and Jim over here. Jim, when this season started, in your wildest expectations, did you think it would be as successful a year?
Honestly, we didn't, but further on to the year when we started to win races and be very much competitive, we hope to have, you know, won as many races as we did, and unfortunately we didn't win the championship, but we went out in grand style.
Indeed you did. Let's get a quick comment from the other brothers. I suppose there's a real love affair between you guys and Italy going on at this point of this season.
Yeah, we're thinking about adopting that country as our sister country.
I assume that all the plans are firmed up for 1984. Teo will be back with the Forsyth brothers.
That's correct. It's really delighted.
It's been a terrific year.